Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with Rocks and Stocks News. Got a new company to talk about, and they're not just new to the Rocks and Stocks News program. They're a newly traded company that's only been publicly trading for about 3 months. And what they've been able to do is come out of the gate with a very high grade gold discovery. And another angle that I really like to hear about is when companies are looking for a certain metal, in this case, nickel, and they find gold. And so we've got Jordan Black on the line to talk about his company, Ramp Metals. And thanks a lot for joining us today, Jordan.
Alan, thanks for having me on. And yeah, it looks like we're ramping from nickel to gold right now.
I bet, I bet. Well, with those kind of intersections, and it's only partial drill core so far, right?
Yeah, so we only basically received the bottom half of the assays. Those came in Friday night just randomly. They didn't come back in the order we sent them, so it looks like the lab is just picking random samples as they go, just because they're a busy lab. Like we've been waiting for 2 months already just for these first results. So yeah, we were pleasantly surprised with that Friday night. Couldn't ask for anything better, and we got in. It looks like we got into this gabbro diorite.
Yeah, and some quartz is what's probably carrying the gold, right?
That's what it looks like so far. So just to give you some background, when we were out on site, this was our wildcat hole where we decided to put a hole down because there was a smaller anomaly compared to our main anomaly. But when the guys were out cutting drill pads, they noticed some bedrock outcrop there as well. So they set down the chopper and took some bedrock samples. One came back 5 grams per ton, the other 1 gram per ton, which were like 100 meters apart. So we're like, we better put a hole in there, and that was the peroxide host rock. So it was very surprising that once we punched through the sulfide zone, that we hit this granite countertop, as Garrett always says. And the guys, because it was kind of our last hole, it was cold out. They just skimmed through the core, and they didn't really look at it in detail. But with any new site and very greenfield company, you want to assay every meter of every hole just so you don't miss anything. And that's how we made the discovery.
And you must be doing a full chemical suite on that as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So first, I want to put this into perspective for my audience a little bit. Um, the quartz is what hosts the gold. But in this case, you've got a fair amount of mixture with that granite countertop, as Jordan was mentioning. And to get those kind of grades when the quartz and the granite are mixed up is truly remarkable. I mean, you're looking at 7.5 meters is 73 grams of gold and 20 grams of silver. But that's not like a lot of companies will smear their results. This is certainly not smeared because in addition to that, you have a included in that hole is 1.5 meters of 164 grams,
Yeah.
1.5 meters of 182 grams, 1.5 meters and 19.9 grams. And that's in the intersection from 227 to 234.5 meters. You go a little further down the hole from 293 to 298, you got another intersection of 5 meters of 4.17 grams. A few meters from that, you've got another intersection of gold, which is 3 meters of 1.8 grams per ton gold. So all of those results are from one hole with three separate intersections in it. Your geologist guys must be really excited about the combination of that super high grade stuff plus hitting mineralization in three separate intersections.
Yeah, look, I'm not a geologist myself. I'm a geoengineer, but these guys obviously they hit the dream hole. This is what they've been looking for their whole lives. Like they've always wanted to make a discovery in their backyard in Saskatchewan. They're both born and raised there, so it's obviously a really good story. And that's a good point. That definitely not smearing due to the intervals. And we also had a bunch of check samples in between the high grade, and they came back in line as well. So that gave us the confidence to put it out before the remaining assays came in. But in the meantime, we will do our QA and QC and rerun samples and just make sure everything's kosher. And yeah, we're really excited.
Now, do you know if they did metallic screening on this or fire assaying?
This was fire assay.
Interesting, because when you get those kind of grades, you kind of want to run metallic screening because it usually will give you a bit of a kick in the grade because in a metallic screening, you're capturing all the material,
Yeah.
not just the select portion of the material that they use in the fire assaying.
Yeah, no, we're pretty confident with the fire assays.
Yeah,
That's
no
we got
doubt.
that question a lot, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's natural question to ask. Well, maybe running metallics on the second and third might be worthwhile.
Yeah, no, we're definitely gonna rerun stuff. The main goal this week is actually some positive news outside of geology is Brett is getting married this weekend and Garrett's in the wedding party. So those guys are both headed to another location today, and they're
Well,
obviously busy this week. So it's a good wedding gift. And
hell of a heck of a wedding gift there,
yeah,
Jordan.
for sure. And so they're gonna head, or Garrett's gonna head up to the facility first thing Monday morning, relog the core, get the microscope out, look for VG, really just see where the intersects are, double check the top zone, the contact zone, which we don't have the assays back yet for. So that's another exciting development that we're all anxious for. And once we get that, we can really analyze the new log core with the pending assays, which I really hope we get next week as well.
And folks that are listening that are not geologists, that contact is really important because that's usually where the mineralization is coming from. So that's a really exciting development to hear about, Jordan.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting, and I don't think anyone's sleeping much. We're taking phone calls all day, and our minds are wondering.
Yeah, well, to come out of the gate and with a good share structure and to make a discovery so quickly, and to be looking for something other and finding gold. That combination doesn't come. I've been in this business for 30 years, Jordan. That rarely happens.
Yeah, this is like one in a thousand, right? So it's
Maybe
we're
one
trying to
in
take in this moment and
maybe
look,
one in 100,000, actually.
yeah,
Um,
definitely, and yeah, we are still waiting for the assays at Rogue 1, 2, and 3, which do have more of the sulfide characteristics, and with the XRF gun, we did realize there's a lot of pyrrhotite there, so that could come back with some interesting things. And if you pull up some of the core photo that we press released before this release, there is some quartz in there as well. So that's another wildcat now that we've hit high grade in this hole, but totally different rocks by the looks of it.
okay, so let's sort of you've completed how many holes now?
So four holes total. Rogue 1, 2, and 3 are in the center main conductor, and then the wildcat hole is Ranger, which is about 2 to 3 kilometers to the southeast, near the edge of the eye structure.
So how many holes went near Ranger? Is it just the one?
Just the one, and
Okay.
it's drilled away from the surface samples by the looks of it.
And of that hole, you've only received partial results from it. How much more of that hole is to be reported?
Yeah, so I think we have in the same high grade zone, we have call it 15 to 20 meters above that. And then we have the contact zone. And then it's about 150 meters total, I think, of untested assays.
Oh, wow, good. So that could come at any time because these come came unexpectedly. So maybe the others will be closely followed.
Yeah, the lab is not tilting their hat at all, even though we pester them every single day.
Which lab are you using?
It's SGS out of
Saskatchewan.
Saskatoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a good lab. I've used them. I used to do a lot of diamond exploration and I've used them in the past. Really top quality lab. And so they do the sample preparation and the assaying there.
Yeah, so we cut the core in our facility, bagged it all properly, logged it properly, and then we also dropped it off to their lockbox, I think in three separate occasions.
Yeah.
And then they pick the samples at random to test.
Okay. So great lab. You guys are getting something exciting, but it sounds like so this was kind of a wildcat hole testing a geochemical anomaly with an outcrop.
Yeah.
But you drilled three other holes on a geophysical anomaly that sounds like you were looking for sulfides and you may have caught something there as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we caught anything on the Ranger, like, or sorry, on the Rogue holes. I don't want to get any hopes up without
Okay.
pending assays, right? But
But you
uh,
did catch some sulfides. I think you
definitely,
said.
yeah, and you can see that in our last press release. We hit some disseminated to semi-massives, so there could be stuff there. And we were targeting a plate about 50 meters down in Ranger. So that's why we went deeper. So as we were drilling, we hit the plate right where we were supposed to at 50 meters, the highest conductive zone. And then we got into the gabbro diorite, and Garrett just wanted to keep going to punch through the granite countertop. And we just kind of ran out of helicopter time by the 315 meters. So that can still maybe be open with depth because as you were mentioning earlier, we hit some high grade at the bottom of the hole too.
So was that cased so that you can go back into it?
Yeah, I'm proud of my geos. They cased all four holes, and we can go back into all of them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so obviously your geos want to get back in there and drill some more holes around Ranger. So what is the game plan as far as next drilling on Ranger?
Yeah, so I think this summer we'll get out there and do boots on the ground, more surface sampling, maybe some bedrock mapping, whatever we can do out there while we're planning the next drill program. Ideally, we get out there end of August, September, with some expedited drill permits. That would definitely help. But yeah, ideal situation. I want to be out there in September and drilling the next big program around Ranger.
Well, and that, folks, considering that the limited work on the surface was what led to this spectacular discovery, that surface work looking around for outcrop could identify and further refine the target that you're already made the discovery on.
Yeah, totally agree. So I think it warrants some more ground truthing for sure.
And how is you raised money going public, and I think you have a good chunk of warrants that are in the money. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we raised 1.2 million at 20 cents, and that came with a half warrant at 35 cents. So I think there's almost 3.3 million warrants outstanding. So people might look to exercise that, and that could definitely fund the entire summer program.
Well, I'm sure some of your warrant holders, it's worth prodding them because it will. But I mean, even with the amount of stock you guys have out, you're in a pretty special situation there, Jordan.
Yeah, that's one thing that is special, and we really took into consideration when we formed Ramp Metals 2 years ago. We wanted to keep a tight share structure, friends and family, raising from people we trust that are going to be long-term holders that actually support us to discovery. And that's obviously playing its part right now.
Jordan, you did a very good job to put the company together, and your timing that is always up to the market's whim. But you're coming out of the box at a great time. Tell us a little bit about your team. How were you able to do pull this off? You know, a newly listed company and making a hell of a discovery.
Yeah, good question. So I'm very proud of the team and what we put together. So Garrett was always a follower of Mark Bennett, who discovered the Nova Bollinger by Sirius Resources. That was 13 million tons of nickel copper. I think they sold that for almost $2 billion. The reason we staked the land originally because we thought it had a similar eye structure to Mark's discovery. So once we ran the entire TDEM geophysics across the entire property and got that nice, beautiful eye structure, Garrett's like, you should just reach out to Mark, show him the data. So I showed Mark the data, and he couldn't believe it either, how similar it was and how it even striked in the same direction. Not that it matters because it's on the other side of the world, but he was excited to join the team. So he joined as an advisor, brought in a few of his banker friends to help finance the RTO. And then we also brought on Scott McLean, who's made a few discoveries himself, and Richard Murphy as well. So I feel like I've built one of the or we've built one of the top discovery exploration companies in the world right.
Tell me a little bit about your background, Jordan. Seem to have some very good contacts in the business. What have you been doing in the past that opened these doors for you?
Yeah, for sure. So I started off as a geotech engineer in my career, consulting for mostly infrastructure, so building roads into mines, tailings work, pre-feasibility, feasibility studies. So I learned from the ground up how to build infrastructure for mines. Then I got into the VC world. I really liked financial markets, so I wanted to dabble in that a bit. One of our big investments was Gold Spot Discoveries. So I helped take them public and was really good friends with the CEO, Denis, and actually joined them on day one of trading. And that's where I really fell in love with true exploration, both like investing in greenfield properties and working them as well. So definitely hats off to the Gold Spot Earth Lab guys who really got me into the trenches.
Yeah, no, that's a very technically tremendous team, actually. And I recently just made Earth Labs a pick in my reports because I like their concept of they're getting into the digital media in a big way, but I also like for the investor out there that can't do the homework and they have a portfolio of assets, companies that they own shares in. And I kind of picked them because I think they're a good proxy for the junior um, exploration investor that doesn't want to do all the homework because they got some pretty good guys doing the homework. So that's a very interesting part of your past, Jordan.
Yeah, for sure. And I just remember Denis in the early days just trying to build the team with the greatest minds in the industry. So that was the strategy. Like, how many PhDs can we get in data science and geology? And obviously they did a great job. And with the Newfound Gold spin out too,
Yeah.
obviously a very proud moment for them. So yeah, that was part of my history, and that really got me excited and always wanted to do my own thing. And that's when I met Garrett and Brett about 2 years ago. So been working, I guess, on the side for with Ramp Metals for 2 years until we got to the RTO phase and really dropped everything to do this full time.
So, Jordan, let's talk about the project where it's located because you're in a very mining friendly jurisdiction.
Yeah, no, Saskatchewan's a great province. We just got approved for $150,000 grant for our past drilling work, so that's definitely going to help the treasury as well. We're just north of the Gold Larange Band in the Rottenstone Domain, which is near Missinippi. If you go to Larange and drive up north on the highway to Missinippi, and then we're about 30 to 40 kilometers north of Missinippi. Missinippi has a beautiful camp there where the guys spend the night. There's chefs there and helicopter pads, so that's where we based out of for the drilling program.
Now, Saskatchewan is very well known for uranium, but there is also precious and base metals in that province as well.
Yeah, so I think everyone's been focused on uranium, and it actually left a lot of claims open on the base metal side. That's probably why we got this eye structure. No one's really looking for base metals. And then historically, Saskatchewan had a lot of smaller gold mines. And then I think the one that's still producing is SSR, just south of us in the Larange Band. So Saskatchewan has some pretty underexplored areas and a history of gold too. So
And diamonds.
and diamonds, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Brad actually worked at Rio Tinto, so he has some experience in there as well.
Well, I've spent a lot of my career in diamond exploration, and if you think nuggety gold is an issue, the nugget effect in diamonds is quite tremendous. And so you have to throw a lot of science at it. And I've found that a lot of good explorers are folks that came from the diamond sector, that kind of cut their teeth in diamonds, because gold and base metals are a lot easier. Even though they're difficult, they're a lot easier than diamonds.
Right. No, for sure. You learn with the hardest stuff first, right?
Exactly, exactly. And so, well, did I forget to ask you anything, Jordan? Was there anything
I
let's put it this way, is there questions that you get that you think to yourself, man, I wish more people asked that question and understood the answer?
Yeah, I think we covered everything. Maybe I'll just reiterate that we're not sure if there's visible gold in the core because I see that a lot coming in as questions. So that's why we're headed back to the facilities next week. We're going to relog the core, get the microscope out, really check for VG. It's not the end of the world if you can't see it because in the coarse grained diorite, the quartz is very fine. So it could be metamorphosized so many times that the gold just gets melted into a small particulate, right? So, yeah, I think we can tell the world more in the next couple weeks, and we can't wait for these pending assays as well.
Well, and I'm really excited about you chasing after the rest of that system because it looks to me like you're at the top of the system based on the mixture of the quartz and the granite. And getting into the guts of that system to get those grades when you're at the top of the system is pretty phenomenal. And so understanding more about the system is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, we can't wait to get out there and explore more. So, thank you, Alan, so much for having me on today and discussing ramp metals.
Yeah, it's like I started by saying, Jordan, it's very unique to have a company come right out of the gate, making a discovery and make a discovery. Like a lot of times in my career, I've seen these looking for something and finding something else. And those often turn out to be phenomenal stories. And so I think you guys are coming out of the gate in a pretty unique way, Jordan.
Yeah, no, thanks for those kind words, and hopefully we can kickstart the TSXV into a new bull market here.
Oh, I like the sounds of that. Actually, that brings up the final thing. What do you think about the gold market, and what do you think about when the gold stocks are going to start joining the gold bull market?
Yeah, that's puzzled me for a while. I follow technical analysis and seasonality quite well, or quite frequently. And obviously, we had the first rate cut in Canada, and I think that's going to lead to the Fed cutting rates pretty soon in the US. So we might see gold keep taking the staircase up here. And I think that should obviously translate into the gold miners that are extremely undervalued right now. And I think you start with the major producers first. You want to see those rally, and then finally that will trickle into the junior space. But we're coming right into the gold season right now, the summer gold rush season, and I think we should see that start ticking up as maybe some of these tech stocks cool off.
Well, one thing that I've been writing a lot about lately is that I think a big catalyst is right in front of us that not a lot of people are paying attention to. You know, you look at the gold miners and they're mining gold at about $300 more in the second quarter than they are in the first quarter. And that will be the record highest quarterly price of gold ever. And I think that that's going to result in some windfall profits for gold miners. And I think that's ultimately going to be the catalyst that brings the gold miners into the gold bull market.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I look forward to that.
Then we need a gold discovery story that gets everybody's juices flowing. And I think you got a good chance of being that, Jordan.
Yeah, no, that's what we're hoping for. So can't wait to get out there and explore more and just keep the story going.
Good on you. You guys are doing a good job bringing the company public and the way you're going about your exploration. So keep on it, Jordan. I'm going to close off the show and we can talk at the other end.
Thanks, Allan. Have a good day.
All righty. So there you go, folks. Ramp Metals, brand new company, only been trading for a few months, has made a spectacular high grade gold discovery in Saskatchewan. Really exciting that they were looking for something, another metal, and they found gold. So it's got a great runway to do a lot of great stuff with their exploration drilling. As always, my shows are for information purposes only. It's important for you to do your homework. Speak with your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Go to their website, check out their corporate presentation, and look at those drill results. You can learn a lot about a discovery watching the gold distribution in a drill core, and you can see that in their news release. So do that homework, please. On that note, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.